Hi everybody, thanks for joining me. I am Lynn with Plasma Energy Solution, and our website is the same name, plasmaenergysolution.com. And let's see, today is May 21st, 2020. So I want to remind you today about a couple things we have that are new and some that have been around for a while. So be sure to look on our website at our May special, because it provides a combination pricing on several things that you probably want to have in your plasma pantry. Now I want to remind you about plants, the indoor and outdoor plant plasma energy combination, because this is the time of year a lot of you are planting, and there's some videos that go back a ways. If you'll look through our YouTube channel, and it's under Plasma Energy Solutions with an S on it, okay? And when you look at those videos, there's one that shows you how to place in your garden. You would have a triangle, this is my triangle, okay, of plasma energy water, and you can either use the plasma energy station water, or if you have the plant water, use that and just put it in some plastic bottles and set it in the garden. And then what you would do is in the center of the garden you would put one that's up higher, and then you've created a whole energy field, like a little oasis around your garden. And then don't forget, your plant leaves like to be sprayed with water, and so you can get pretty large sprayers and just go around and mist them, so that we don't just only soak the roots and the poor little plants are going glug, 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 glug. I sure wish they'd give me a shower. So anyway, just remember to do that for your plants also. And some of you that live in moister climates, the misting is no issue. So anyway, that's something I wanted to remind you about. Then I also wanted to remind you that something new here that we have is Healthy Joints and Skin Plus. And this is a combination that includes a lot of things that are supportive of the connective tissues in your body. So it has the energies of those things, and you'll want to go in and take a look at that information. And then I was on an interview with Carrie Ellis with 21st Superhuman, and we were going over everything that was in Healthy Senior, and she said, wow, that would really apply to everybody, not just seniors. And she had a good point there. And so what I did, for those of you that aren't seniors, I have just taken another name and called it Healthy Superhuman. So you can look for that if you don't want to buy something with a senior label on it, okay? But it has a lot of things that are going to be good for any age range. Now, while we're talking about Healthy Superhuman, I just want to give you a heads up about something that's coming in June. And what I'm going to tell you here is it's going to have the words Dream Big in it. And it might have something to do with Healthy Superhuman. So I'll let you know in June. And it's connected to Dr. Paul. June is Father's Day month, and I wanted to do something special there. And Dr. Paul was never afraid to dream big. Now, that meant that when we purchased our first house in our hometown, and I thought we put down roots, we got root rot. So then we moved, and then we moved again. And yeah, we did move quite a bit, but he was always wanting to know what's over the top of that next hill. So that's why I'm calling this Dream Big. And here's something about Dream Big. I got this from a friend, and it is Acti Whiter. It's a toothpaste, and a while back in some videos I showed you how I make some of my own things, and I said I have a toothpaste that has charcoal in it that I make with charcoal and with essential oils, with plasma waters, with coconut oil, and with a lot of other things. Well, lo and behold, the friend sent me this, and I'll hold it up to the camera so you can see. Oh, I said my toothpaste isn't market ready, because who's going to brush their teeth with black toothpaste? Bingo! Do you see the little, that's the black toothpaste in this tube. So I thought that was pretty neat. Somebody finally caught up with my idea, right? So, and theirs is definitely market ready, where mine is not and won't be. So anyway, I thought I would also share a couple testimonials with you today. And so here's something from somebody, and it's just got a lot of different information in it. So she remarks that she has put all her vials around her energy stations except for one. And that was the 16 vials that came with the station, but some additional ones that she ordered. And she said, I didn't add insomnia to mine. And I have one energy, well, I have 5 energy stations, but you might kind of expect something like that here, right? And one of them I call the whole enchilada. And it has everything on it except on insomnia, which I reserve for a separate jar for bedtime, because I guess I just don't want to take the time in the middle of the day to take a nap if insomnia gives me a message that I need a nap. So anyway, that was somebody else saying the same thing. And she said, I have various bottles around here. My insomnia bottle, my clean mouth bottle, and I just made a silver Gans bottle because I remember Dr. Paul saying that Gans silver water was a higher quality than just colloidal silver, because the particles in colloidal silver, you have bigger particles, and you're going to have nanoparticles in the silver Gans. The only way you can get silver Gans is when you order the plasma energy station from us. It is that, and the gold Gans are very slow in the process of creating the the plasma energy from them. So that's the only place. Well, there might be a couple of other places now that I think about it, when I think back to some of the formulas. But it's very select, and no, they don't go out. I don't sell them separately. Okay, and so she said, I decided to take my silver vial and make a Gans instead of a colloidal silver, and my husband will love that. He takes a lot of colloidal silver. I sent one of my friends some pain pads, and she had made some pain pads. She had never used any of the Gans before, so I sent her some pads and told her to call me when she got them. When she first called, she was talking to me and wasn't in any pain, but after a few minutes, she'd been standing a lot longer in the kitchen than she is actually able to stand. And she told me she was in horrific pain and it was burning. So I told her there was no time like the present to try out the pain pads. It was actually her hip that was burning. So I told her to put the 2 pads on one side of where the pain was. Well, put one on one side and one on the other side, which she did. She came back and we were talking for another 2 minutes or so, and I stopped her and I said, are you feeling any pain? And she went quiet for about 30 seconds, and then she said, no, my pain is gone. I wasn't sure what was supposed to happen myself, and we must have talked for about an hour, and she kept checking to evaluate how her hip felt. She was so afraid that it would be too good to be true and the pain would come back again, but it didn't. She was just blown away. Even her husband, who knows that how she suffers, was just totally amazed. And believe me, he is not easy to convince of anything. And I think I told you about my husband's shoulder. He went to another state to visit his daughter and his little grandson. You should have seen his face when I asked if he wanted me to make some pain pads to take with him. He just lit up. These are actually like a security blanket now. He likes to know they are there when he needs them. In a couple of weeks, my nurse friend was, a couple of weeks later, my nurse friend was feeling really sick. Like she had the flu and she had a fever, and she said with all her other health problems, her temperature only has to go up about 2 degrees and she feels really sick. And she can't handle temperatures over 100 degrees. I had sent her the antivirus vial as well as some Clearmind in it. And she had already made her pads with the antivirus water, but she didn't know where to put them. I told her I didn't know either, but since she had a fever, I suggested why didn't she try putting them on her forehead, which she did. And she told me her temperature went down. And then I think she took them off for some reason, and then her temperature would go back up again. So then she put them back on. But she did go to see her doctor anyway because she was very afraid that she might have the virus that's in the news. So she was tested. She does not have it. And she hated the test. She said it was horrible. I want to mention that again. I have mentioned it on a couple of other videos. When somebody takes a swab about this long and jabs it in to the very upper part of your nasal cavity up against your brain, don't you think that's probably going to hurt? Insanity, in my opinion. If they're after the whatever is in the nose, it would seem to me that a Q-tip right here in this part of the nose would probably be adequate. So as I often say on many videos, I always have the big question mark, why? And I want you to think about that. I have some acquaintances here and there, and some are so afraid still to leave their homes. And I'm just going to suggest that if you are in such a state of fear, maybe it's time to turn off the source of that fear. And the source of that fear is probably your TV set. Years ago, I quit watching, for the most part, I quit watching the TV. First of all, there was more commercials than there was whatever I wanted to watch on TV, and that just irritated the living daylights out of me. And so I would get up and walk out of the room when the commercials came on and go do something else. Well, I looked like a jack-in-the-box. I'd watch TV for a few minutes, then boing, there came the commercials, and I'd jump up and run around and go do something. And then boing, another commercial. So I decided, you know, unless I just want the exercise, I don't need to be doing this. So I have a TV sitting over there across the room, and it has a lovely scarf over the top of it, kind of like this tablecloth. And I don't think I've taken it off since last June. Gosh, this is May. That's almost a year. You think I've missed it? Maybe it's time to just get rid of the whole thing entirely. I kept it around just in case I had the time and inclination to watch a video. Well, I guess I haven't had so far. So anyway, I'll go ahead with this. I have another friend who used to be a nurse. She has lupus and arthritis, and it seems like I know so many sick people, but she said her arm would hurt a lot at times, so I sent her some pain pads, and they worked for her too. I am sending these vials to all these people, and I myself haven't been to a doctor for 40 years. Somehow, I just always seem to find something natural and cure myself, although I believe God is helping me as well. But I hardly ever get sick. But when I found the GANS water purely by accident, and this was the plasma energy GANS she's talking about, I don't actually believe it was by accident, but it seemed like it was at the time. It was like I found the gold standard of natural medicine. I was mainly concerned about my son when I found it, but it is helping so many people now. It's just amazing. I wish I could thank you and Paul personally for how many people his knowledge has helped. Maybe one day in the next life I will be able to shake his hand and tell him thank you. And thank you too, Lynn, for carrying this on. So I really appreciate that. That's very kind. And you know, whenever Paul and I teamed up and did things, and we were both on target, on focus, we were really able to take it places. So I'm really grateful that in these last several years, we were able to do something that was so interesting and brought so much to so many people. And he always said it bought him extra years with his family because he knew the condition of his body and he knew the ravages of what had happened with the diabetes being on the insulin, with the kidney transplant being on the transplant medications. And speaking of that, he had done several videos, and in preparation for, again, Dream Big, he was going to do a diabetes workshop, which never got done. But I am going to package some of his videos as a separate product, not a YouTube product that's a freebie. And those might be part of something that I'm calling Dream Big. That's going to be a special in June, so you'll want to watch for that. And I already talked to you about our Healthy Superhuman. I kind of like that name too. I think we're all superhumans. And you know what? We need to remember that. And don't let the media, the news, and what's going on beat you down, because everybody has their gifts to bring to those around them, just like I've been reading you in these testimonials. So I had another question here, and it was, do you have a formula for sinus trouble? Both my son and I have problems with our sinuses and have been diagnosed with sinusitis. I'm enjoying the benefits of Healthy Senior. There we go. We were just talking about that I got from you, and it's helping manage my chronic back pain. And I wrote back and said, you know, we really never have addressed that. And Dr. Paul had terrible, terrible allergies when he first started veterinary practice. And what really changed things for him, there were two things. We really started taking some vitamins and minerals, and then he also, that was the time that he learned acupuncture. And so the acupuncture helped bring balance to his body, which is the same thing that the plasma energy solution is doing. And he used to have me do some treatments. He had a big, at that time, the acupuncture electronic application of it machine was really big. And so one day he said, so I want you to do something. I want you to, we're going to put a needle here and here, and then I'm going to just have you put a little bit of the electro energy on it. So he did insert the needles wherever he wanted them. It was somewhere along the nose. And then he said, okay, go ahead and do that. And within a second he said, stop, turn it off. And I guess it was really an intense shock. But you know what? After that, he was over his allergies. So there were several things that came into play to bring balance, and he really, really had bad allergies. And it's interesting because I believe, if I remember right, back, and this was back in the 70s, that there was a certain nasal spray that, when the research came out on it, did damage some of the body organs. Interesting, because he used that probably from the time we got married, he was in college, until this whole episode I was talking about. It's kind of funny to remember that. But, you know, he did a lot of good with the acupuncture also. And that was another thing, dream big. Here's a veterinarian in Gallup, New Mexico, and one day he says, you know, I've been reading about something, and I want to go to Atlanta and take some acupuncture workshops. And I'm going, acupuncture? So there you are. It was dream big. So I want to thank you for joining me today, and be sure and watch for those coming things, and also be sure to check out the monthly special for this month, and our we're just putting up the Healthy Superhuman. So if you can't find that, just go pull up Healthy Senior and read up all the information on it, because it is the same thing with a dual purpose label, depending on who might be interested in it. So thank you so much, and do take the time to tell those around you that you love them. Look them in the eye, tell them you love them, and mean it. Dr. Paul and I could still do that after 54 years. We said that to each other, not once a day, but several times a day, and mean it. So, you know, when there's a lot of fear in the world, maybe a little bit of love goes a long ways to help displace some of that fear. And use your discernment. As I've said in other videos, don't only use your head brain, use your gut brain. Because I think that brain is what probably taps into our common sense. So thank you again for joining me. And don't forget to dream big. We'll talk about it more in upcoming videos. And if you've liked this video, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to share it with others. And be sure and visit our website, plasmaenergysolution.com. And have a great rest of your day.